Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Jordan Elsass. You might recognize me from the show Superman and Lois. You, my friends, are watching Completed It with Andy Burrows. It's your one-stop shop for everything pop culture related. Enjoy the show. I know I sure do.
Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Completed It. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and as you can see, I am joined by my illustrious co-host, Mr. Sasha Olari. Sach, happy Friday, sir. How are you, brother?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. It's
We've
coming to
made it.
the end of our day, but
I
yeah, I can see
know.
it's brighter on the other side of the globe.
I know, right? Our very special guest is star of the hit Netflix show right now, which I am currently plowing my way through, Beauty in Black, and also the star of a movie that you might have heard called Aliens, Mr. Ricco Ross. How are you, sir?
I'm good, brother. I am very good. How are you, Andy?
I'm good, my man. I am good, my man. It's really good to speak to you, my friend. Rico, we know that your time is precious, so we're going to try and cram in as much as we can. We always say to our guests, we spoke with Tom Arnold the other day on the show, and
Oh, Tom. Okay.
we said to him, is it weird being in 2025 still talking about some of the great movies that he's done? Rico, is it really surreal for you now that we're still going to sit here in 2025 and we want to ask you questions about the Aliens movie?
It is, and I like the word you use because that's exactly what it's like. It is surreal that 39 years later that they're still talking about this movie, and it's because the fans keep it alive.
Yeah, I mean, how did obviously Alien come out in 1979? So fast forward to 1986. How did the role come about for you? Was it a case of auditioning? Was it a case of they asked you? Was it a case of, hello, this is Aliens? The answer is always going to be yes.
No, it was a case of auditioning, and the thing about this particular audition was they auditioned me for Michael Bean's part, and I got emotionally attached to it, and they hadn't seen anybody else. I was one of the first people they saw, and they said I can't offer you that part, and they said, but we will put three different characters together, and I'll rewrite the movie and offer you that part if you need an answer right away, because at the same time I was meeting for Aliens, I was meeting for Full Metal Jacket,
Wow.
and Stanley Kubrick offered me Full Metal Jacket. He offered me 8 weeks on it, and Cameron really wanted me to do Aliens, but he said before you accept anything else, at least come back and see me. So after Kubrick actually offered me the part, I came back and saw James Cameron and said, "Listen, Kubrick offered me 8 weeks." James said, "What are the 8 weeks?" I said, "Well, it only overlaps 1 week." He said, "Well, you can do both. I'll let you come a week late if Kubrick will release you after 8 weeks." So I went back to Kubrick and he would not release me. And so then we had a conversation about, pay and can I see the script? He didn't have a script. He was paying all the actors scale, which for those who don't know what that is, that's basically the least you can possibly pay within a union. And so I went back to James and said, James, I think I'm going to do your movie, and that was it. And, I never looked back.
What was it like working on that movie with such an esteemed director like James Cameron? Obviously, you had Sigourney Weaver, Bill Paxton. I mean, from the Alien movie being so great, was there added pressure when you go in to make a quote unquote what was then a sequel to one of the biggest movies that's already come out in '79? What was the pressure like for you guys going in? Because I've seen some sequels and like follow-up movies, and you think, oh, it's not quite as good as the original. This
Mhm.
arguably amongst people, and you've probably heard this loads of times, this arguably was better than the original. What was it like for you as a cast going in thinking, oh my God, we cannot screw this up?
I tell you something, Andy, I had not seen the first movie, so I didn't have any pressure. After I got cast, I thought, well, I have to do my due diligence. And so I
I
went and
better
watched
watch
the
it.
first movie. Yeah, I better watch it. So I watched it by myself at night, and I remember it scared the bejesus out of me, man. It was such a frightening movie. But it was a completely different type of movie. It was a movie based on a certain form of, I guess, suspense. Whereas James went in completely different and thought that we're going to make an action movie. And I'm glad he chose that because the movie was so well done and the alien had been seen, that there was no longer that element of surprise. So he had to come with something different. And James, as genius as he is, he made the right choice.
Yeah, he most did. Go on, Sash, you got anything, mate?
Yeah, I never knew about the Full Metal Jacket thing with Kubrick. That's really
Yeah, man.
something.
And this is the
Yeah.
deal, Sash. At the time, James wasn't really known.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
but
Because
but
Kubrick, yeah,
every actor wanted to work with Kubrick. And one of the reasons why we wanted to work with Kubrick is because Kubrick, he often wrote a skeleton script, and then he had these workshops. And what you brought to the workshop through improvisation, that would also be in the movie. And so for an actor, that's like cocaine to a drug addict. And so
yeah.
I really wanted to work with Kubrick, but at the same time, I I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. And James said, "Listen, Rico, I wrote the script. I will put a part together, and I'll put these three characters together, make them one character, and he says, and I'll pay you." And at the time, that was really important to me.
It worked out in the end. I mean, both films
Yeah,
are both very memorable.
both films are
Both
very
are
memorable. Yeah.
very memorable. Aliens is a very big, I'd say it's more than a cult favorite at this point. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
People are still rediscovering that movie
Yes,
every generation as well now. So
you know,
you're in
it's
infamy with that one alone, really.
it's
So
it's crazy because
yeah,
I'm at a sci-fi convention right now as we speak,
yeah.
and it's for aliens and other sci-fi movies that I've done. But 39 years on, man, the audience we're finding younger and different audiences constantly. I'm surprised. I meet people, man, who weren't even born when the movie came out, who are super fans of it.
I noticed you do a lot of other films, like short films as well, throughout your career and stuff.
Mhm.
And one thing that piqued my eye on that you actually did a take on the Riddler for the Batgirl movie. What was that like? I mean, not a
You
lot of
did
people
your
know
home. You're
about
doing
this.
your.
We do our homework on this
Yeah,
show,
not a lot
Mr.
of people
Russ.
know this,
You did your
and
homework,
that's
brother.
a different kind of animal, man. I mean, what was that like? How fun was it? Like,
That was so much fun. I actually was offered the part, and it was a Canadian project, and I was just so honored to be offered the part that I said, we're going to do something really different with this. And so I went and met with a stylist, and we decided to go with completely red hair, red eyebrows, red beard, red everything, and a green suit. I had a I had an upside down question mark for the Riddler as a tattoo, and we took off with it, and I won Best Actor at the first film festival that it was entered in.
that was a really cool take. I personally
Thank
felt,
you.
and you know, not a lot of people really know about that one, and I think more DC fans should, should get a
Right.
little bit more love. But I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of like the filmmaking world, especially the independent world, you've been in everything. You've done big blockbusters, you've done small films. Um, I noticed over the past couple of years you've been a producer and producing your own stuff. How do you find that? How do you find that aspect of filmmaking? Does it make you want to direct, maybe, or write and direct?
It does make me want to direct. Often when I look at movies or plays, I I try and go in there as an audience member, but I end up directing in my head. And I also see a number of projects where I think this is really a good script, and the actors can deliver, but the directing is holding it back. And so I do have this yearning to direct, but directing is it's a real headache. It's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
I just got to find the right project before I think about actually jumping in there. I've directed some small stuff, but I would love to direct someday a nice project.
Mm. Rico, what's the reaction been now? Like you say, you do a lot of comic cons. Is it still surreal and weird for you that like, the last thing while we touch on the Aliens movie, like we said, it gets passed on from generation to generation. I mean, is that something as an actor it's kind of like it's like heartwarming to you that you know that someone like I'm eventually going to let my kids watch the movie. I mean, I remember watching it, like you say, I think I was like 10 years old when I was 6 years old when it came out. I think I was around 10. It scared the living shit out of me, but now it's probably up there in one of my all-time favorite movies. What's it like for you as an actor when you do get people come up to you going, "Oh, my kids have seen this movie"? Do you think, God damn, that makes me feel either really old or really cool?
No, you know what? It warms my heart because like I just met uh, a guy and his girl, and they bonded on this film. He introduced her to the film, and this was one of their date nights, and he introduced her to the film. She loved the film, and I often hear stories about parents and children actually watching the film and finding a kind of bonding relationship because of the film. It's just it's an amazing project, and I still am baffled that 39 years later that people are still this excited about this project. But I also understand why.
Mm.
If you look at the film, it's got strong women. Every woman in that movie is strong. Even the little girl, the little girl in the movie, she was the only one that survived on the planet when they arrived there. So they've got really strong women. They've got black. They represented, and I think that's success. And the other part and his genius is that the movie was done without the 1980s special effects,
Mm.
and because of that, it didn't age the movie. It was about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I was flipping through channels and I came across Aliens, and it was about halfway through. And I thought, let me just watch it to see how it's aged. And I was shocked that it looked like it could have been made that year. You know, so
Mm. If it's any testament to the filmmaking, it's the recent Alien movies. They're all right, but they're not a patch on what you guys done. So while we're
thank
here
you.
talking about incredible casts, and I said to you just before we started recording, this is the most surreal moment for me because I am plowing my way through the hit Netflix show Beauty in Black. Mr. Rossa, talk to me about this show. It's for me, it's kind of a show that doesn't get made anymore. There's two stories, kind of more than two stories going on in one show. I mean, you've got Kimmy, you've got Mallory. You come in as I'm thinking, what kind of role is he playing here? And then I won't give too much away, but you play one of the biggest roles in this TV show. It hits you like a ton of bricks. I think in episode 3, I'm like, holy fuck, this guy's got the huge house. And I don't want to give too much away, but just talk to me about Beauty in Black because it is an incredible Netflix show right now. And you obviously play Horace in the show. What a show, my friend. Talk to me how that come about and you must be so pleased with the feedback that you've got because everything I've read about it or what I'm watching, it's an incredible show. And again, it's surreal for me. You were on my TV screen like 5 minutes ago. Now I'm sitting here talking to you.
The character is so different from me, and it was a challenge for me. I almost didn't even do the movie because when I read the description of the character, it said the character was in his 70s. He was 70 years old and he was ill, and he was an old looking 70-year-old. And I just thought this isn't me because when you meet me, that isn't what you get. But I thought, you know what? Let's just put. I'm going to give him my version of this character, the way I see this character. And so I I put something on tape. I told my wife, I said, listen, just let me work on the lines a little bit and let me get one take where I haven't messed the lines up. And we'll send that in. And I did one take, and halfway through the take, the character is supposed to cough, and I coughed. And my wife said the line at the same time. I didn't hear her, and I, still in character, I said, excuse me. And she was behind the camera going, what? She didn't know what to say. And so I said in character again, I said, I didn't hear you. And then she said the line, and then we completed the scene. Well, I looked at the scene afterwards, and even though I'd made a mistake, that was the essence of the character that I thought I could bring. And so I sent that tape in, mistake and all, and I got an offer. And so that was the beginning of it. Then when we got to set, I told Tyler, it's a Tyler Perry production, and I told Tyler that I'm working on this character. I think I said I studied at Lambda in London, and when you study in London, I think a lot of times because of the period pieces, they often work from the outside in, whereas Americans often work from the inside out. And so I do both. And I felt like I had, if I used my father as kind of like the foundation, my father was a big man physically as well as in the community. And I said, if I use him as a foundation, my father never raise his voice. Even when other people raised their voices, he would lower his voice. So I used him as a foundation, and I felt like I had him then. And then I thought I need some shoes, so I tried on different shoes, and I finally got a pair of shoes. And then Tyler was helping me out. He said, "Why don't you try a cigar?" I tried the cigar, and I found the voice. And then lastly, Tyler said, "Try this cane." And he gave me a cane, and I started walking with the cane, and that was it. I thought, I got you now, Horace. I got you.
Yeah, honestly, I think I've just finished episode 4. And your character, I don't want to give too much away because anyone go and watch Beauty in Black. It is really incredible. Just briefly talk to us about the cast that's in it. Obviously, Crystal Stewart plays Mallory in there, and literally the good thing I like about this cast members, and it's kind of like an old school kind of TV show. You've got
Mhm.
2 or 3 storylines going on at the same time,
Simultaneously.
but they're getting closer and closer and closer to
Mhm.
like you're turning up at the hospital when you shouldn't be there, but obviously Kimmy's friend's already in. I don't want to give too much away because I feel like I'm saying too much. But what was that like to shoot for you guys, knowing that you're telling this story over here, and then you're also telling this story over here, and that every episode I'm thinking it's going to. I can't wait to finish it. I'm gonna. We'll have to keep in touch. I need to tell you what I think when it finishes. What was
I
it like
want
for
you to.
you?
I want to talk to you again after you finish it, cuz let me tell you something. You better buckle up.
Okay.
you,
What
you better buckle up, brother.
What was that like
But
to
I'll tell you
film
that.
though? Because the storylines, like you've got the storyline here, you've got the
Right.
story, and then you're slowly bringing it. You don't really get that in TV shows anymore.
Well, one of the problems that I found, and a lot of actors find when you do a Tyler Perry production, is that he shoots at a pace that is lightning speed. Normally, something like this might take 6 months to shoot. We shot it in 3 weeks
Oh wow.
because of the way he shoots. He has done to filmmaking what Elon Musk did to the car industry. It is completely different. It is not the same. He didn't take what Hollywood does and tweak it. He didn't take what London does and tweaks it. He started from the ground up and created a new way of filming, and so he could shoot that fast. The problem for us as actors in it is that the first day I showed up on set, normally you would shoot 6 or 7 pages a day. I had an inch of pages. It was 81 pages, and I thought they were giving me the first episode, and they go, "No, this is what we're shooting today." It was 81 pages, and I remember my butthole tightened up so tight. I just thought, "Oh my god!" But but I thought, Rico, you've been in this business for 4 decades plus. If anybody can do it, you should be able to do it.
Mm.
And so I tackled it the way you would tackle walking 1,000 miles, one step at a time. So I learned the first scene. I nailed it down, and I felt like I made some good choices. I went in there and I killed that scene. And then the second scene, as I'm changing clothes, we have 6 readers on set. They're reading with you for the next scene while you're changing clothes, while you're moving. They're running lines with you. I go to the second scene. I kill that one, and I did that throughout the day. And by the end of the day, we had done all 81 pages.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, yeah, I urge anyone go onto Netflix, start watching Beauty in Black. It's an incredible cast. There's more twists and turns on a roller coaster. You won't believe quite what you're watching, and
There
it's
you go.
apparently it's going to get a lot better for me. Mr. Ross, just before we let you get out of this, we always ask our guests, what does the future of filmmaking and TV look like in your eyes? Because where we are now, like you say, I'm talking to you about your hit Netflix show. Me and Sasha always talk about it used to be cinema, cinema, cinema. Now it seems to be Netflix, Amazon Prime, Paramount. What, in your opinion, does the future of filmmaking and TV look like?
If you had asked me this question um, maybe 6 months ago, I would have a different answer. Right now, because of AI, and AI is so good, and this is only the beginning of it. I think there's a big shift, a big change coming in the future. Um, Tyler told me, he says someone sent him a scene because Tyler was going to build this huge studio for a certain kind of special effects, and it was going to be millions and millions of dollars. He said someone sent him a scene, and he watched the scene. It was a good scene, and he got back to the people. Why did you send me the scene? And then they explained to him, these are not real actors. These are AI actors. He stopped his project that he was going to, the multi-million dollar project, because he said this is going to change everything. So I normally I would have an answer for you, but because of AI and because AI is so good and so effective, I don't know what the future is gonna hold. I know when special effects first came about, people thought, well, everything's going to be special effects. But then it kind of settled, and there's an audience for things that have heavy special effects, and there's an audience for things that don't have special effects. I'm assuming that that's going to be the same in the future. That there are going to be movies that are going to come out that are going to be totally AI, and there's going to be an audience for that. And then there's going to be an audience for people for projects that really are more human-like. So that I guess that's the closest answer I can give you right now.
Wow, we really appreciate it. Ricco, thanks so much for your time. We know that you're busy,
My
you're out
pleasure.
working right now. Again, it's going to be surreal for me because I'm going to end this Zoom call and put you back on my TV. So I
Dude,
want to,
I really want to know what you need to text me or something and let me know when you
yeah,
get to the end of the first season.
I'll send my number. We'll keep in touch, and we'll
All
get
right,
you back
brother.
on, and we'll talk about Ricco.
All right.
Thanks so much for your time, brother. We really do appreciate it.
I appreciate it. All right. Thank you, guys. All right,
Thank
Seth.
you, man. Cheers,
Take
bro.
All
care.
right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.
Well, Sash, it's not every day you get to talk to the guy that starred in the Aliens movie and was in Beauty in Black, which is an incredible. By the way, go onto Netflix and watch it. Sash, just while we're here, quickly, bro, let's just chat briefly about the other news this week. Marvel released the casting list for the Doomsday movie coming out next week. What did you make of the big reveal yesterday? A lot of people sitting on X for hours upon hours just to wait to see the backs of the chairs come across.
Fantastic. It was fantastic marketing.
Yeah.
Fantastic marketing. A lot of people are disagreeing. Everyone's like, oh my God, they made me waste my lunchtime or whatever. But, that's still, if you look at the stats from a marketing perspective,
Mm,
Bear people were all over that. Bear
yeah.
people were all over that. And it generated hype throughout the day. Who's next? People guessing who's going to be and whatnot. It created a lot of engagement for
Mm.
Disney and Marvel, which is what that thing's supposed to do. So it did its job. You may hate it that you didn't get a trailer or a seat or something. What are you going to get when they haven't
Well, they
even
were like,
filmed
"Oh,
it?
there's no way I didn't see
Yeah, yeah,
Spider-Man in the
yeah.
thing." It's like they're not going to
So
tell us everyone that's in the movie right now. You
yeah,
must have
yeah,
some
yeah,
surprises.
exactly. There were some surprise reveals. I mean, like obviously the X-Men, but I kind of guessed that for years. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of had an inkling that we would see those guys back with the same actors. The
Hmm.
surprise X-Men that I didn't think would come back was genuinely Alan Cumming that played Nightcrawler?
Mm-hmm.
Because he really didn't want to come back. That's why he was never back in X3 because he was supposed to be
Didn't want to
back
do
in
it.
X3. He didn't want to do it because
Mm.
he did the makeup and stuff, and he was like, "Nah, I don't want to do that makeup." So along come Disney with their Disney money.
They can
They
send
did
some
that
our
to
way.
Alan
Yeah, they
Cummings.
can send some our way,
They
pal.
did that.
Yeah, it's all
They did
about the
that.
Disney money. That's
And
what you're
yeah, it's
saying.
all
It.
about that Disney money, man.
Yeah, no, it's true, bro. It's true. But yeah, so that was some other big news. But dude, it's been another good week of talking movies and stuff. I mean, I didn't think I'd be sitting here on a Friday knowing that I've already interviewed Tom Arnold and Rico Ross, mate. It's been an incredible week. Wait, have you lost something? Are you okay?
No, no, all good, all good.
But dude, if anyone wants to check out this show, just go onto YouTube, type in "completed it pod," all one word, into the search bar. Up to 100 subscribers now. It's actually in a little short time that we've been doing this, bro. We've hit 100.
Yeah, and also I wet my pants just now. I just spilt the glass of water I got at the start of the podcast, spilt it on the floor. I'm now drenched in wetness, and that's how we're going to end the podcast. Slippery and wet.
Yeah, slippery. Well, it is Friday night. We're allowed to do these kind of shows. But Sash has been really good, my man. Anyone who wants to check us out on X, go and check us out at Completed It Pod is where you can find us. Like I say, you can find us on YouTube. Sash is going to try and dry himself off
Jesus.
and not be so wet on a maybe this wet on a Friday.
Oh, my God.
Friday. Anyway, I dojo. Sash, I'll catch up with you next week. But everyone, thanks for tuning in to the Completed It. We have completed it. Another week. I've
completed something.
Ah, he's completed something. Till next time, everybody. Stay safe.